Good morning and welcome to our final pre-Christmas retreat where we have the candle of welcome lit, a candle to welcome the light of Christ into our lives. It's even been snowing this morning here in Ampleforth to complete the picture. And so here we are, it's Christmas Eve, on the brink of celebrating something truly wonderful and awe-inspiring, if we stop to think about it. The fact that God, the one who created us, the source of all that is, of billions of galaxies, the mystery at the heart of existence, became human and is now among us, is to be encountered in the events, the flesh and blood of our lives, incarnate. God, born in a stable to two young people, one who had the courage to say yes to an incredible call, and the other the courage to stick by her. They brought eternity into the world. A child, as Denise Levertov puts it, needing like any other milk and love, but who was God. Like Jesus on his knees washing his disciples' feet, like Jesus on the cross, Christmas tells us a lot about who God is and where he is chosen to be found. It's no accident that something so stupendous happens incredibly humbly. No fanfares. It's a very small, unpretentious, very ordinary, very human. It's a quiet, almost isolated event. Very limited as it will be for many people this Christmas. Just a young couple displaced by a census, forced to take refuge in a cave, a manger, because after going from door to door, there's nowhere else to go. There's nowhere else on offer. And they are alone. There is no one else around, only the animals. The shepherds, the magi, the choirs of angels, they all come later when it's all done. Right now, it's just them facing this moment on their own. And this is where God is. And this is how he chooses to come into the world. Very human, very fragile, yet very beautiful and wonderful. Like so many such beginnings and so much of life, not always ideal, often very human, limited, uncertain, often not very comfortable, often a whole mixture of things, feelings of joy and hope, love, mixed in with feelings of trepidation, fear, uncertainty. Where will it all lead? How will it all work out? God has chosen to be there. And what has brought them to this moment? Joseph and Mary. Their love for each other. Joseph's willingness to trust his fiancée no matter what. Both of them listening to voices of angels and dreams, and being willing to bet their lives on what they hear, to give their all even in the midst of uncertainty, willing to believe what lies deepest within them, though so many other voices might whisper, no, it's a waste, it's an illusion. This journey they make together in fear and trembling to this moment, the moment that changes the world. A child is born. God comes into the world as a small, helpless infant, utterly human, sharing our flesh, our limitations, our dreams, our sufferings. It is a beautiful moment in this place Patrick Kavanagh calls the stable where time begins. Eternity has come among us, to feel and see and experience and hope and dream with us. Heaven and earth have come together, and life will never be the same again. So where is God to be found in our life? Not in some perfect world or perfect person, but in our imperfect humanity, in the flesh of our lives, the flesh of our families, our friends, our own broken, imperfect bodies, in our dreams, our failures, our regrets, our meanness, our broken promises, our disappointments, our limits, all the events of our lives, God is there in all of it, waiting for us. This is where he has chosen to be. The kingdom of heaven is already among us. The Word was made flesh and lived among us. I think Christmas calls us to rekindle the hope within us, to open our hearts again, to begin again, to believe again that God is love, and to listen to the call of love in our lives. You sometimes hear adults say, Christmas is for children, really. And maybe that's true. Because you see, children aren't afraid to dream. Children have no problem believing that goodness can make a difference. Children still have the capacity and freshness for wonder, for finding joy in life, for seeing the miracle in things. Children are still willing to trust. They aren't afraid to believe that wishes can come true and that what you do can make a difference. And they are capable of acts of immense generosity and open-heartedness, children. They haven't, in a sense, learned life's lesson yet. And maybe there's something to teach us in that. Perhaps they can prompt us to open our eyes and our hearts again to life, to joy, to hope, to love, to each other. To open your heart to God's presence in the people who are around you in your life now. In the view outside your window, the sunlight overhead, the snow outside, the hopes and dreams and love in your heart. He is there. The Word was made flesh and lived among us. St. Paul tells us with shocking abruptness, the time has come, you must wake up now. Because God is already in your life and in your heart. In what is best and most beautiful within you, he is there. He is, as Penelope Wilcott put it, in the Word whispered deep in your soul, from somewhere as far outside yourself as the stars, yet as near as your own shuddering breath. He is there already, whispering to you. Listen with the ear of your heart, as Benedict would say. Look around you. What is he trying to show you? What is he trying to say to you? Look at your life now. He is already there. Perhaps he comes to you through a particular person or people, an experience of some kind, a book, a piece of music, a moment in quiet that awakens something in you. Or where something touches you, even if only vaguely. When something attracts you or fascinates you or challenges you or awakens in you a hunger, brings alive a hope, a possibility, a promise. He is there. He's also there in the moments when the human burden feels too much. Moments of weakness, of tiredness, of despondency, of failure. The Word became flesh. He is there too if you are open to him, to bring what only he can bring. As the prophet Isaiah puts it, he will remove the mourning veil, the sadness we carry. He will wipe away the tears from every cheek. He will take away his people's shame. There is so much the Lord wants to do for us, but it's not magic. It's always our choice to open our lives to him, to really let him in. And I think for that to happen, there are certain things we have to be willing to do. I think we need to be, first of all, willing to be simple, to choose to be open, to trust what is deepest, simplest, and most human within you. Unless you become like little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. You need to trust him enough to allow him to guide you, making him part of your life. sharing your life with him and listening to him. Because we are not alone. In the deepest part within us, we are not alone. So choose to listen and look like a disciple. Where is he present today? Where am I being led today? What is being asked of me? Because if you let him, he will lead you. As the psalm says, you will show me the path of life, the fullness of joy in your presence. At your right hand, happiness forever. So learn, like all of us, slowly to say yes, as Mary did, because this is the way home. And he promises, surely I know the plans I have for you, plans for your welfare, not for harm, to give you a future with hope. And when you call upon me and come and pray to me, I will hear you. When you search for me, you will find me. But most of all, we have to be willing to love. The gospel is very simple, really. The good news is very human. Love one another. This is where I am. In one of the parishes I worked in, we decided one Advent to have a giving tree put up in the church. And it's like a Christmas tree, except that instead of decorations, there were labels put on the branches. And each label had something written on it, a pair of gloves, a scarf, or some toiletries. Simple but thoughtful things. And people were asked to take one label, to buy the present and to wrap it nicely and place it with a card under the tree, wishing the person a happy Christmas. And they would then all be collected and distributed at Christmas to people who might not have much or be receiving much at Christmas. And people were incredibly generous and thoughtful. But one incident particularly struck me very deeply. One of the people distributing the presents came to my door to tell me she had called on a very elderly lady living on her own. And when she handed her the present and card wishing her a happy Christmas, the lady's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you so much," she said. "You have made my Christmas. As you can see, I'm now on my own. I haven't received a present for some years now, and I never expected to receive one again. So thank you." It's the simplest things that make the most difference, that make up all we most treasure in life. And it's their absence that causes the most pain. And it's here that God has chosen to live. In the love that is communicated daily in those simple things, those powerful things in life. So today, say yes to this Christmas, to Christ, to God among us. Look up at the stars tonight and say yes, whatever you want to bring about, yes. And say that yes to all that lies waiting within you to come to life. All the goodness, the love, all you can do and will do in the world. And say yes to how God is present in the flesh today, in the very simple, real, human, even imperfect ways, in your family, your community, your friends, in yourself. How he's there in your dreams. How he wants to open your eyes and your heart. Say yes. And say a prayer for those who are lonely or cold or hungry or ill or afraid this Christmas. Christ comes to be born today, not just in a stable 2,000 years ago, but in you, in your relationships, in your life. God waits. Say yes. Look, I am standing at the door knocking. If one of you hears me calling and opens the door, I will come in to share your meal side by side with you. So may you discover him this Christmas with you, by your side, in your heart, and in your neighbour. And on behalf of all of us here at Ampleforth, may I wish you a very happy Christmas. Thank you.